What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the greatest podcast in the world, Shooting the Shit Uncensored. I'm your host, the truth, the dad bod god, the bald, the beard, and the beautiful Piers Austin. And once again, I'm joined by one of the most amazing co-hosts anyone could ever ask for, the man with the three largest legs in professional wrestling, the OG himself, Mr. Robbie Zucco. Welcome back to Shooting the Shit, brother.
Thank you very much, Piers. How have you been? You been doing well?
I've been all right, man. I've been all right, man. I've been pushing through, bro, as always, man, like we do. But, man, I'm excited to have our guest on this evening. This is a returning guest. This is the one, the only, the lovely, the beautiful Nikki Poteet. And I'm excited to have Nikki on. We're got so much to talk about with Nikki. So much has happened since the last time we've had her on. And I'm really excited to have her on and to also have you back on for this conversation as well.
Thanks. Hey, look, to be honest, it's Miss Virginia. So, you know what? I'm excited. I'm as excited as you are. So I can't wait.
You're tongue-tied.
I'm tongue-tied already.
And you know what? Like, you know what's going to help, like, keep you relaxed and chill is actually heading over to healthvape.com. And healthvape.com is your healthy vaping alternative. All of their products are no nicotine, no addictive or harmful chemicals. They help restore your energy while giving you a vital boost you need to get through your day. Rob, seriously. And these things are vitamin infused. I've heard they're like vaping through a Red Bull or something. So guys, seriously, go check out that healthvape.com website. Go and check out all their Vape and Pod products. Use that promo code MWAPOD to get a 10% discount and tell them the greatest podcast in the world sent you, baby. Boom. Amazing. But wherever you're finding us, make sure you click that subscribe, like, share, all that good shit, and tap in. But you know what? We've talked enough shit, man. I think the people have come here to see our guests speak. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get into it. Rob, introduce our guest, please.
The one and only Miss Virginia herself, Nikki Poteet. Good, eh?
Boom, and we are back with the greatest podcast in the world, Shooting the Shit Uncensored, with Robbie Zucco and the one and only Nikki Poteet. Nikki Poteet, welcome back.
It's so good to see you guys again. I can't believe it's my second time here. And Robbie, I heard how tongue-tied you got.
How you doing?
As always. How you doing? Yeah, I'm doing good.
Always tongue-tied, always tongue-tied. But it's good to see you. You been well?
I have just been busy burning the candle at both ends, just like I normally do. But life is good. I probably could complain, but I'm not going to. I think I've done enough complaining today. But yeah, no, everything's good. How are you guys?
I'm good. Life's good. I think, kids are getting bigger and, louder and, more disobedient. So, I think that there's no more hair to fall out. So I guess life is...
Well, I mean, I guess the beard could go next, but...
Yeah.
Don't lose the beard.
I hope not. But that's the whole gimmick. But it's great to have you back. It's great to hear that things are going well. One of the things, like, I feel that we sort of were just talking about before is, like, the positive experiences that we can sort of have with, the industry that we're involved in here with professional wrestling, because I feel like for the most part, we all love this thing, right? Like, no matter what promotion you work for or which clique you roll with or who you're friends with or who you're enemies with, at the end of the day, we all have this insane, weird thing that we all love and want to be involved in. I don't get how some of it can be so toxic all the time, especially when there's not like, let's be honest, there's not really a superstar here that's like the biggest draw in Australian wrestling. Like, it's
sorry, I thought I misheard you there, but yeah.
But
you know what I'm saying here? Like, it's just,
yes, no, I get that. Yeah, no, like I totally agree with you. And I've always said if promotions can just cut their bullshit, come together, we could have amazing shows, humongous crowds. Like, it could just be bigger than any of us could ever imagine. And we could get all of our dreams fulfilled, wrestling in front of these huge crowds, make it a big, massive event. But, you've got this promoter over there. I don't like you. If you work with that person, you can't work with me. Like, it's just insane. It's getting to the point now where like wrestlers don't want to be a part of that anymore. It's such an awful, nasty, toxic culture. But what can we do to fix it? Like, I'm just going to sit here on the podcast and be like, it sucks. But like, me as an individual, what can I do? Like, Robbie, what can you do? Piers, like, I think you're doing something great having this podcast where everybody can get out and say something. But I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of at a loss sometimes because I don't know what to do other than like call people out on their bullshit and hopefully they stop.
Like, Rob, you've been around for a long time, like, not to sort of like say you're old or anything, daddy-o. But let me ask you this. Like, has this always been the case that you found with the business, or like, and if not, when did it change? When did it become this?
Look, that type of stuff's always been around. Every single company has their pros and cons. But a lot of the times, I mean, back when I was around in the late 90s, early 2000s, it was, you had to be with us or them. You couldn't cross promote. You couldn't be with. Now, look, I broke out of the mold after like 10, 15 years. So I actually started working for a lot of different promotions, and everybody still has that same thing. They're so addicted to the wrestling. They enjoy the wrestling. They want to be part of it. It's just they just all have just different ways of thinking, and they have that mentality like a territorial thing, like us versus them, like they're the enemy or they're no good. You know what I mean? They don't have that whole let's give them a go, or let's just see what they're like, because at the end of the day, we all have the same common interest.
But that's the same. But it's like tribalism, almost, that we see in professional wrestling, and we see it in fans. Like, fans argue over fucking AEW and W. Like who gives a fuck? Just watch it. Just fuck up. You're a fan.
I don't care if I see like a match and it's a good match. I don't care which brand it is. You know what I mean? I don't care where they're from. If it's good, it's good. If it sucks, it sucks.
Like crossing the brands, could be a great thing. Like, I don't think that there's, such diehard fans at, one promotion that if they saw somebody from another promotion, they're like, oh, what are they doing here? Like, I'm so angry, I'm going to leave. Like, of course not. Of course, that's not going to happen. And I think like cross-pollinating everything, what keeps it fresh and it keeps it lively and it keeps it interesting.
But you know what? It's an interesting thing. Like, I saw a post from a friend of mine who's been in the business 20 years plus over in the States, and it says, and it was about CM Punk, and it said CM Punk can go on a press conference, trash talk the entire vice presidents of the company, then go and have a physical altercation with them, and then return to the company because he can draw money and be business. That's how business is run. Indie workers, no, we can't book him, or we won't have her on the show because they hurt my feelings once. Like, and he was basically saying, like, get real. Like, come on, like,
And,
you know
and
what I mean?
the reason why he's on is because they are businessmen. You know, most bookers or small wrestling promotions that we have, especially like around here, they're not businessmen. They're wrestlers. Want to get their 10 minutes in, want to do their match, want to work about their shit, and they forget about the promoting side of things. We spoke about that with Hunter Hayes. It's two different things. But yeah, if you got someone that draws, you keep them. You know what I mean? You got to look after them. Because even though yes, it could be hard to work with or whatnot, but they're the ones that are bringing in the money. Conor McGregor, same thing. He's an asshole, but he's bringing in the money. I mean, he gets his ass kicked now, but he brings in the money. He's just talked about. People want that fight because they know now it's more of an easy fight than it used to be, and now it's like, okay, I'm going to make some really good money facing Conor McGregor, but he's still like, you know what I mean? He's a draw, so it's the same thing. If you're a draw, you stay, and if you're a businessman, you keep him. Nikki.
And thank you very much.
Over to you.
I finished this.
Yeah, but I feel like, we just harp on and on about it, and like nothing is really changing. So as for, what I can do, I don't know. And it's like I'm getting at the end of my rope with it. And like the bullying, from wrestler to wrestler and promotion to promotion is now leaking out into the fans, which we were all made aware of. This happened, a week or so ago. Blacklisting a wrestler like, oh, I don't like you, or you're friends with that person, I'm not going to have you on there. Like, that's one thing. But, now a promotion has taken it a step farther and blacklisted a fan that not only promoted every single one of his shows, but promoted every single promotion, almost every single wrestler, just made wrestling what it is. He brought that joy to wrestling, and that was Kyle Eade, and he was blacklisted from a promotion. Like, I can't tell you the level of disgust that I have when I read all the messages on Facebook, which have now been deleted by that person that wrote them. Like, where does it end? Where's the stopping point? When is enough enough? When someone's life is taken, ultimately, I think, because of bullying.
I mean, his life wasn't taken because of bullying. I mean,
well, yeah, I understand that. I understand there's a lot of complexities in that, but
I think Nikki
harassing somebody online can have effects on them that you don't even know about. Like, every single one of us is fighting a battle that nobody else knows about but that person. And just the fact that has happened to somebody, like, he's part of our wrestling family. He's part of our wrestling community. And it's it's disgusting that even happened in the first place. I'm not saying that was the cause. Like, I'm not saying that at all. But I do believe that contributed to, the decline of somebody's mental health. Of course. Well, and it would for any of us if that was said and done to us.
Yeah, well, we were doing a show, an EWA show, and he actually approached us, approached Piers and myself, and we spoke to him on that day, and he was telling us about how that scenario, and obviously it affected him big time. We sometimes as wrestlers or workers don't understand the severity when we hurt a fan. You know what I mean? We turn around and say, oh, they're just fans, they're just bronies, they're just marks. But at the end of the day, without them, there is no us. You know what I mean? So it's a good lesson to learn.
Exactly. And like, he spoke to me, we would chat on Messenger every now and then. And he communicated to me his feelings about this blacklisting and what happened. And that's why I feel so strongly that I do, because it was just so uncalled for to do that to somebody. And there were, other wrestlers even that, get involved and and have nasty, horrible things to say, like getting other people to jump on their bandwagon with it. And again, where does it stop? Is that enough for, this idiot promoter to stop the blacklisting bullshit? Hopefully it is.
Piers?
I mean, the bullying aspect of it is like, it doesn't matter if it's a fan, worker, cameraman, ring crew person, referee, whoever it is, like, as I said earlier, this is all something we love. Like, no one is putting big money away doing this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe one or two is probably making a decent amount per show, but let's be honest, no one's making a full-time living off of professional wrestling. And I just feel like at this level of it, the drama and the bullshit doesn't need to be there for any aspect of it. And the fact is, the fans that want to go and support this local product, you want to enhance them. You want them to be involved. And you know what? Like, if someone says something and gets out of line and says something that's a little off kilter, you need to take a step back and go, okay, what is this person's, mental state like? What is this person like? Okay, no worries. Look, maybe if I just go up to him and have a quiet chat, that might work. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And not publicize it and put it out there for everyone to read. Like, it's childish. And obviously, my own dealings with him, like, I got blacklisted from his shows. Like, I can't even remember why. Probably because I wrestled for somebody he didn't like. But
I did see that. I did see his post about wrestlers, if they work for certain shows, if a certain wrestler was on there, that, he's going to blacklist them. But it's like, you know what? It ain't worth doing his shows if he's going to turn around and try and ruin other people's chances, because there's not enough shows. You know what I mean? There's not enough shows overall. So it's like, if such and such is working a certain wrestler, he's going to ruin their chances to actually, get better and become, to work different shows. Like, it's like, well, that's something I don't agree with. Like, if he doesn't want somebody on their show, or if I didn't want somebody on the show, I wouldn't go up to everyone else and go, hang on, don't put him on the show. And the ones that are working him, you guys won't be allowed to be on my show if that's the case. You're trying to play that card. I think that's bullshit. I don't like that. That's just me.
It's like, okay, if they don't want them on the show, okay, do it in private. Send them a message, say, hey, listen, I'm not going to have you on my show for XYZ reason. Okay, fine. But like, making it public, trying to get everybody else to have their view and get on their bandwagon with, oh, I hate this person, you should hate them too. And if you don't hate them, then I hate you. Like, it's like Army in kindergarten.
It's childish, man. It's completely childish. And the fact of the matter is, like, if I have a drama with a promoter, and that promoter then wants to go and book Zucco, I'm not going to go and tell Zucco, we can't be friends anymore, bro, because you're going to. That's dumb. They're grown ass men. Like, I would not do that. I would not expect him to say no, because that's not his beef. You know what I mean? And that's sorry.
It's professional. It's the word professional.
Business.
It's professional first. You don't do that. I've never come across a lot of that. I don't get involved with a lot of that. But when I heard that, I was like, this shit's not fucking professional. No fucking way. You know what I mean? I don't want to be part of that. I work for a lot of different promotions, but one thing I won't be part of is that type of shit. You know what I mean? Because, like, I've got no fucking time in my life for that shit. You know what I mean? All that garbage. I don't know. My thing is, when I go to a show, do the best I can for that product to try and help out as many people as I can. But to put up with that shit, it's not fucking worth it, especially for the amount of dollar that you get for this business. It's not worth it.
I got asked early on, bro, like when I started getting on shows, and it's like, I got asked by a promoter, oh, what does such and such think about you working for us? I said, well, to be quite honest, it's none of his business. Like, it's none of your business. When I work for him, I go, whoever books me, I turn up and I do the best that I can.
There's not enough show.
It makes me wonder what goes on, I guess, in their personal lives? Like, do they have a professional job where they would go to work and be like, oh, well, you know, this coworker did this? Like, what are their personal relationships like if they're doing this, you know, for something that we do for fun?
This is their life. And what's going to happen is after this podcast, there'll be a long fucking email, this long, you know what I mean? And it will be long-winded and it'll be bullshit. I'll bet my fucking balls on it that's what's going to happen. I am not even going to read it. People send it to me, but I don't read it because I've actually got a life. I've got shit to do. You know what I mean? I love wrestling. I love going to the shows. I love seeing the people. I love doing the matches. Everything else, you know, I couldn't give a shit about, you know what I mean? But that's what's going to happen.
So speaking of those, you know, long ass, like 3 or 4 paragraphs of a message, I got one and I didn't read any of it. It's just left sitting there in the inbox with like no blue check next to it.
This is what I don't know.
I don't need time, bro. I don't care. I said what I said and I meant it.
But that's the thing. I got the same long-winded fucking shit. And it's like, I decided, no, I'm not going to go down that road and be your fucking, like, be someone's fucking spokesperson or bitch. Like, no, you got something to say, you say it. Like, this is my podcast. I'll say what I want to say, and whoever's on here can say what they want to say.
So
lions don't concern themselves with the opinions of sheep.
100%. And you know what? They even did a podcast and like put my name in the title heading of their podcast or their episode of their podcast, bro. So
just to get more clicks on it, like that's the only reason.
Hey, you're welcome for the views. You're welcome. And by the way, thank you for watching.
Let's go back to the Nikki. So what's first and foremost, because I don't know that he told me when we were at the show that he got blacklisted, but he didn't tell me what it was for. Does Piers, Nikki, do you guys know?
Apparently he like said something like homophobic, which I mean, I wasn't there, but even if he did, which I don't believe, if he did, then again, like you said, speak to him on the side or address it like maybe something I don't know. I don't believe that happened, regardless of whatever it was. Like, you know, Kyle supported everybody. He came to all of our shows, promoted every single one of us.
100%.
Like, give him some compassion or some consideration. Like, speak to him privately.
But everyone's different background as well. He supported every worker. There wasn't any, you know what I mean? It didn't matter about their ethnicity. It didn't matter about their sexuality, any of that. He supported everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never, out of the, I don't know, probably 100 times I've seen him at a show, never one time have I ever seen him be anything but supportive of everybody. He gets, you know, in with our characters and he boos the heels and cheers the faces. Like,
oh, he gets them going. He gets the crowd going at times. Exactly. You know what I mean? It's a dead crowd. But this is the thing. So let's just say in general that he made a homophobic comment. Was this during a show to a wrestler that was a heel, you know, or a babyface? And if it was a heel, the heel went, oh, you know, we're going to blacklist this guy. Like, really? Is that what really happened? Did like, wrestlers are supposed to be much more thick-skinned than that. You're not supposed to worry about that type of stuff. Your fans are your fans. They're there to have fun. Let them be the way they want to be. You know, it's up to you to compose yourself. It's like you go to a theater show, you do your theater play, you do whatever. You know, you go perform, and then that's it. They applaud you and whatnot. You do go out afterwards and you do see the actual crowd. You're a totally different person. It was just you know what I mean? It was just for the show. So yeah, I don't know. I think look, if it was just for that reason, like I don't know exactly what happened. If it was for that reason, then it was pretty. Yeah, it wasn't worth.
The promoter had it all over his Facebook, and now it's gone. So
right. Why did he take it off? Because he was ashamed, or did he pass away?
No, probably the same reason that was the only promotion that didn't make a post like giving condolences or acknowledging that Kyle had passed, and which is the act that I called out from them because it's just disgust. Sorry, okay. you guys had a fight or an argument. What happened was completely tragic. Like, put on your big boy pants and, show some compassion and some sympathy. But you know what? I don't even care about that promotion. They are just so far out of my vision. I don't even want to. They just make me sick. It is sickening.
So Piers, they did a podcast on us, like
why? No, like because of my California interview and my Facebook post. So they wanted to respond and they wanted some views off my name or whatever, guess, bro, so they can go and do that, man. I don't really give a shit. Like, I got sent it and I'm like, LOL, like. Like, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, man, like, why am I going to go watch something that has 33 subscribers when they're not anywhere close to the level of the content that we can put out on a regular basis, bro? Like, honestly, I don't have time to go and watch that shit, bro. I don't. I honestly don't. But, I've got 3 kids, bro. I've got a busy life. I work every weekend as well as a full-time job and doing a full-time podcaster as well, dude. So I'm pretty fucking busy. So, my time to relax, the last thing I'm watching is, some.
Anyway, enough about those like nonsensical people. I had like a really interesting thing happen to me today.
What's that?
So, like, I've had an encounter with a male Karen.
A male
Karen. Like, I saw one in the wild.
Are they called a Kevin?
I don't know. What would a male Karen be? I feel like Todd might be like an appropriate name. Like, it's Todd. I'm Todd.
Sabrina.
I don't know.
Not a Todd, but maybe a
Sabrina.
Maybe an Arthur.
Oh no, I think it's Darren. Like Karen and Darren. Maybe.
It's a Darren.
Anyway, so I had an encounter with a Darren today. So at work, we have like 3 parking spaces for our building. It's kind of like warehousey type of buildings. There are 3 parking spaces. I was told that the 2 spaces next to that, they're for a different unit. The unit was vacant, and they're like, oh, just, park there until, some other company moves in. So like, I parked there. I was there for a few hours, and I was sitting in my car about to move my car, and I get tap on the window. And so I just crack open the door, and I was like, yes, can I help you? And he's like, you need to move your car. Like, who told you can park here? No. And I was like, okay, sorry. Like, I was told I could park here. Like, no big deal. It's in the car sitting at the steering wheel. Like, I'll move it. Not a problem. And so he stands behind my car. And I'm like, well, I can't move if you're standing there. Like, you're going to have to move, like, out of the way.
Yeah.
He comes up, whips my door open, smashes the car next to me with my door.
What?
And you guys know me, right? So I jump out of the car and I'm like, you don't do that. Like, not to me. You don't know me. You don't know who I am. Like, I advise him to step away out of my face. And he's like right here in my face at this point. And he's like yelling at me because I parked in his spot and that I'm a thief. Like, it's theft of property because I parked in his parking space.
Wow.
That he didn't need, by the way. It's not like he was waiting to park in it. He just wanted to come over and yell at me. But, today he picked the wrong girl, and he told me that I should off back to America.
Wow. What was your reply?
What?
How old was this guy? Like, roughly?
Like 50s.
Late
Did he have a crush on you?
What?
Did he have a crush on you? Is that why he did it?
I don't know. Like, it just came out of nowhere. And so he's like, why don't you fuck off back to America? I'm like, excuse me, I'm a citizen just like you are. And so anyway, he's like, I just started going off on him. I'm like, get out of my face now. And I was yelling loud enough. Like, our poor CFO, like, he's brand new to the company. He comes down. One of the guys from the warehouse, like, Lebanese guy, he's a legend. His name's Mo. And this other guy that I'm training, they all come outside and like, Mo, get him. And so like, Mo's badass. He's such a superstar. And so he's like in this guy's face, like, you don't yell at her, like you don't do this. If you've got a problem, you take it up with us. And anyway, yeah, and he started calling me the B word. Call me the B. So I do the American thing and just whip out my phone and start filming him. I'm like, you're going to end up on the internet, Darren.
Do you have it? I want to see it. I want to see Darren.
Did you send it to us? Let's put it up on the podcast. Let's show Darren.
But like once I started filming, of course, he, had calmed down a little bit. But you could see like his cheeks trembling. Like it looked like he was about to burst into tears. But what did you think he was going to do? Open my door and pull me out of the car and threaten me? Because like I'm not a short chick and I had on heels. So like I jump out of the car and he's like, oh no. But he already like opened up the can by then. And I said, I told him, if you ever threaten me again, like I'll sort you out myself. I'm not scared. You don't know me. But
you don't know me.
I will.
You don't know.
Second court case coming.
You don't know me, sir.
There's the second court case.
That is some what you know what? You have some wild experiences, man. Seriously.
Yeah.
Like since I've known you and become friends with you and like be around you, from time to time and have these conversations, like I always sit there and go, fuck, what a fascinating, like you have some fascinating shit happen to you in your life, man.
Why me? Why did it have to be me? Because everybody parks there. Like there's no parking. Otherwise we have to go park on the street and it's like $16 and it's farther to walk and I don't like to walk far. But like me, why did it have to happen to me? Like why couldn't he go threaten somebody else?
You get those people, and those people just have way too much time on their hands. You know what I mean? I'm a building manager by day, and some of the shit that I have to put up with, some people have no fucking lives, and that's the perfect.
Like he could have calmly said, like, "Sorry, ma'am, like you're in our space," and so the building was empty, and I guess they're gonna occupy it starting next week. I'm like, you could say something. He's like, who told you could park here? I'm like, well, obviously, like, our managing director told us that we could park here because it was empty. If it's no longer empty, then, like I was nice at first, but like when he whipped open my door, I was like, this is not happening.
It's wild that people would actually behave like that out in public. You know what I mean? Like you must think about the bad day that this Darren must have been having, that he would have been that prepared to go and just assault pull a random woman out of a car who was trying to move out of the parking spot that he wanted. And
after everybody came out of my office to, talk to this guy, he still stood behind my car. He's like, I'm not moving. I'm not going anywhere. And they're like, sir, move.
What's he going to do? He wants to keep you there for what?
But the thing is, if it's him that is moving into that building, he's going to be working right across the way from where I work almost every single day. So yeah, we're going to see how that goes.
Yeah, well, maybe he'll come up and say, "Hey, listen, I was having a bad day. I'm sorry."
If he did that, I would say okay, I understand that. Don't do it again. But yes.
Yeah, let's go for a drink. Is that okay? I'm not moving.
Yeah. So
I've got some to say sorry. No.
So you said it was Nikki, right? So do you like this car, Nikki? Yeah. So I'm kind of a sugar daddy.
That's funny. That is funny.
Oh,
so Nikki, do you see yourself working for a lot of different shows regularly moving forward, or what do you see yourself doing with the wrestling business?
Well, I don't know. I guess whoever I'm going to offend next, I guess we'll see what pops up after this thing airs. But right now I'm working with AWE. I really want to get back working with AWF. I like Greg. So a lot of people got an issue with him. I like Greg. He's never done anything bad by me. And I think he's kind of one of those polarizing people. They're like, oh, if you do Greg's show, you can't do mine. And actually, you know what? That was why That was why what's his face blacklisted me, because I wouldn't pull out of a show that I was on the poster for. I'm like, I can't, like, I won't do that. I could, but I won't. That's not who I am. But anyway, I really like Greg. I think he's great. So his promos are the best.
Greg has always been very pleasant to me. Like, all the interactions I've had with him, there's never been anything negative, I could say. Like, you know what I mean? Greg's a character, man. You know what I mean? And that's like, look at the world that we all play in, man. Like, that's what it is. It's all based on characters and wildness and stuff like that. Like, that's why you have people like the Birdman and you know, Greg.
Greg is a legend, like, in himself. I think his charisma and like what he puts into his character and what he puts into his promos, like, I think he cuts a good promo. I like them. And anyway, I've always been a fan of Greg, but
he's always
I know not everybody is. But yeah, I'm excited to start working with AWF again.
That's good.
And like maybe some EWA like down the line. We just got to get more girls, and like probably I think the girl rivalry between everybody is just far worse than the men. And it's dumb, and it needs to stop, because we are outnumbered in this industry, and like, ladies, we need to stick together. So anybody up for some like hot girl matches? Let's do it.
There you go. Calling out everyone in the industry. There you go. But,
the girls, we just have to stick together and tell these promoters, like, okay, you don't want me working that girl because of whatever reason. It's dumb. Like, do you want a women's match on your show or not?
Yeah.
Simple.
And that's the thing. You do have it every now and then, but you don't have a lot of guys saying, I don't want to work that person or whatnot. You know what I mean? It happens more frequently with the females, but I don't know why that is. Maybe it's...
And I think there's some girls out there that are just too scared to get in the ring with other girls.
Yeah.
But why do you think they're too scared to get in there? Because they think that other person's unsafe?
No, I just think that they don't want to be the less pretty one. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think any of the girls like out there are like unsafe. I haven't ever wrestled with anyone who's unsafe. I mean, accidents happen. Like, Flame accidentally sat on my face and, you know, had a big bruise on half of it, but I still love her. I still think she's great, and that she's not dangerous after that. It's just accidents happen.
Sure. Dave and Beck will be pissing themselves laughing on why I'm laughing at that comment. But anyway,
she like sat on my face from a height of like 6 feet. So
she launched herself up and just landed right there.
She did. You know, she gets height on her, like, she gets height on everything she does. But yeah, like, it was just right here.
You know, funnily enough, Nikki, like, I heard you injured someone doing a cannonball not too long ago.
You know what? That's his own fault, because you don't take a cannonball like with your like face out trying to snip it. Like, you gotta like, you gotta turn your head.
He didn't turn his head. He was like, yeah.
He was like, take me, Jesus. Let's go.
Because, like, you know, cannonball, if like, you know, the turnbuckle's here and like, you should like.
He did go on about it. He was,
but instead he's like, like, you can't like take a cannonball with your face sticking out.
No, he told us about it on the podcast.
Yeah. I don't know which.
I didn't get to watch it yet.
Oh my god!
That was my 70-minute unhinged rant of Birdman that leaves me and Rob speechless.
Are you officially the bird lady?
Are
you the bird lady?
I don't think so. I think I'm like the bird butcher, just chopping him up into pieces every time we have a show. No, Birdman's good. He's a good sport, but yeah, I think I'll retire my cannonball. I dislocated my shoulder at the last cannonball I did. Like,
really?
I don't know if anybody saw it, but like, I hit a cannonball, and anyway, I was like, I'll just make it two. So I ran and did another, and I have pretty messed up shoulders anyway, like with this motion over my head, and my shoulder completely popped out. And so I'm sitting there, I get myself on the edge of the ring and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, my shoulder is dislocated. What am I going to do? And I pulled it and popped it back into place, and life went on. I'm just holding my arm. I'm like, I just dislocated my shoulder, which it's happened like 20 times.
And you wrestled still? You kept it going?
Well, I wasn't in a match. I was just kind of doing my running, interfering. Right. But I was with Bruiser. I was like, Bruiser, my arm is hooked. Like, I can't do anymore.
Jeez. Oh, God. I had one guy in a match. He couldn't finish the match when he did that. He popped his shoulder out. He threw a clothesline at me.
Weak.
And he starts going, I can't continue. I can't continue. I'm like, please continue. Please continue. Yeah.
Like, please, you can still go and chop and stuff with your other arm.
So many opportunities, and please continue. I said, you're doing it to yourself. You know, to me, it shows a lot. You know what I mean? You got to continue with a broken leg. You got to continue.
Yeah, I think I still like gave a few chops with my good arm after I dislocated my shoulder.
Yeah.
Jeez. Oh man, that's crazy. Yeah, but I don't know. Like, you think dislocated shoulder, you'd think like, yeah, that's got to be it. That's got to be time to take it home.
Well, no, you don't, because you can use your other arm and you got your leg still.
Like, you know, as long as you pop it back in, like, it's painful, but like you can still move it and you can still use it. Your arm is not immobile.
Use it to your advantage. Actually use it as sell the damn thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But don't on the floor. Use it as in hold it up like this, because you're still there. You know, it's going to hurt when you're on the back because the adrenaline's still going. You know what I mean? So just go in, keep chopping. You know, shoot them off, throw something if you can, or just do something. You know what I mean? Don't just die and go, God.
Actually, you guys communicate that injury. So I was in a match with Jasmine once, and she threw a rogue forearm and hit me in the jaw, and my jaw went like crack. And I literally thought like my jaw was broken. And I was trying to tell her, you know, without anybody hearing me, I'm like, my jaw, like, don't hit me in the face. And she couldn't hear me, and she's just like wailing on me. I'm like, but yeah. You gotta communicate the injury, and hopefully nobody makes it worse.
It's funny that you were talking about the dislocation, because I saw a clip recently of Buddy Murphy in AEW. He had a dislocated shoulder, and Jerry Lynn pulled it back, or yanked it, and it popped it back in, and it looked absolutely like, I was like, oh, just made your skin.
He continued.
Yeah, he popped it back in, then he quickly ran back in and slid in the ring.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, we're all superb athletes here. That's what we do.
I come from a generation just a little bit of ticker. You know, I'm not asking for a lot. Just a little bit of ticker. You know, don't just give up so soon.
A little bit of what? I don't know that word.
Ticker. Yeah. Your heart's ticking.
Oh, okay. Sorry, that's a new one. I'll have to put that in my like Aussie vocab that I don't know.
A little bit of heart. I'll say it in America.
Oh, we'll get that. Okay, a little bit of heart.
A little bit of heart.
Don't mind me. I'm just gonna fuck off right back to America.
America, come back. They never come back.
Oh wow, Rob, that's not very nice.
I'm only joking. No, you stay. You stay with us.
Yeah. Otherwise, you won't have anything to look at when you go to the shows.
You're a good egg.
I actually am like a decent egg. Like,
no, you're a good person.
One of my coworkers, I've worked with him probably like almost 7 years. He's like, "You're actually like pretty pleasant." I'm like, "Oh, thank you." Like, thanks.
So why do you think that people think that you're not? Is that like just a first impression thing? Do you say hello? Do you not give them the time of day? Like, why do people think that? Do people think that, first and foremost?
Yeah, I think it depends on what setting I'm in, because sometimes I can be like quite like shy and introverted. So if I don't know, like I work with orthopedic surgeons, like a lot of times I'll just kind of clam up because I'm listening. So if I'm around, you know, people that are a lot smarter than me, like not you guys, but you know, here I'll talk.
Wow.
Jokes. But like, I don't know, certain crowds, like I can really clam up, and I just feel like I don't have the, anything valuable to say. But okay, so I wrestled. I forgot her wrestling name, but her name's Jessica Wood, I think. So she's down in Canberra, like redheaded girl, like really nice. So Greg brought her in for an AWF show. And so like I wrestled her and she was just like, oh, like you're not like I thought you were going to be. And I'm like, I don't know, what does that mean? Like, I guess she expected me to be a really snobby bitch. And like, I'm not. Like, I think I'm easy to get along with and talk to. Like, I never snub anybody and not talk to them. Like, if anybody wants to talk, I'll talk. But like around some people, yeah, I can be kind of clammy, but it's not because I'm being stuck up. It's just,
well, you can't
sometimes.
You can't like everybody. You know what I mean? You can't always get along with everybody. You got to feel comfortable with people. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
as far as we're aware, you've always been pretty cool with us. You know what I mean? I've never had a problem with you. You know what I mean? So,
I mean, there was that first time I met you, and I thought you were pretty awful. But like, that's kind of changed now. No,
but it's only uphill from there, right? Can't go any lower.
No, I'm kidding. But no, like you were always very pleasant with me. I never had any issue ever. Like I actually enjoy our conversation.
I think what it is she doesn't, if it's bullshit, she'll call you out on it. Like there's certain individuals in this world that will call people out on bullshit. And a lot of people will just go with it and just not care or say anything or don't want to, but she's got balls. Sorry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What?
She's got coconuts. You know what I mean? So she's actually she's not scared to say that. She's not scared to be herself. You know what I mean? So if people can look,
can you play like the boing sound? Do you have that one?
No, I don't think so. No.
You guys know what I mean. You guys know exactly what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I hear and I'm just like, like it's not even worth wasting my breath on. But like things that I really feel strongly about, I'll be like, no, like that's not correct or that's not true. Because there's been times like I was at this modeling competition for Maxim, and I'm standing there, like we're watching the girls and they all had, like we had different costumes. And so this one girl had this American headdress on. Like a Native American, like big headdress that the chiefs wear. And like, I can't even speak that much about it because I don't really know, but there's a big thing in the States about cultural appropriation, and like dressing up as a Native American for Halloween is like seen as disrespectful. And so she's wearing this headdress and I was just like, like she's wearing like a Native American headdress. Like that's interesting. And this other girl I don't know what she thought that I said, but she starts screaming at me that I'm a racist. And I'm like, no, like what I said wasn't racist. I just said like, like she's wearing a Native American headdress. That's interesting. And so anyway, she gets one of our other little girlfriends and they start, like telling all these other girls like, Nikki's racist. She just said this and that. And this other girl stood up for me and she walked up to them. She's like, no, like, don't do that. You didn't hear what she said. Like, you didn't hear it correctly. And what you're doing is just going to be really, really bad if you continue. And ever since, I didn't know this girl at all. Her name's Emma. And after that, like, we just became friends. And she's my best girlfriend here now. So somebody always needs to speak up and say something. And if it has to be me, then it has to be me.
No, that's fair enough. And
some people need to be told.
Exactly. And what does Emma look like?
Emma is hot. Emma's really hot. She's got like bright red, purpley hair. We'll have to get Emma on the podcast.
Let's get Emma on the podcast.
Is she smart? Is she smart? Because
she's total package, just like me.
Come on. She's got to come to our.
Yeah. One intimidating. Nikki and friend, double intimidating.
Yeah. I can only handle one of you. Not gonna handle
Yeah. Well, of course she's hot. Like we did Maxim together. So yeah.
Look,
She's a little hottie hottie.
Who's Maxim?
Maxim is not a person, you ass. I see what you did there.
Oh, Jesus, Rob.
You're like, who is he and how can I meet him?
Oh my God, that is craziness. That is craziness. Yeah, look, I feel like, like what we were talking about, going back into, bullying, blacklisting in wrestling, how that's kind of been a thing. And I feel like that's been a thing for quite a while. And, and we just spoke about it then as like calling bullshit out. And I, for one, am all for that. And that's something that I've probably started doing a lot now, whereas like if I'm seeing something that doesn't seem right, then I'm fucking saying something, and it's like it is what it is.
Definitely. And I remember you picking a fight at McDonald's last week with a 70-year-old man. There's a 70-year-old cleaner. Pierce is trying to go in and use the toilet, and then they're blasting each other. And I go, Pierce, come on, we'll fucking.
I did not. I went and opened the door, and he pulls the door out, and he's like, bang! He's like, no, we're close. I'm like, and then like I'm like, are you fucking serious, you old fuck? Like, what the like? I'm just like,
with the old bastard. Poor 70-year-old man. Pierce was picking a fight. But anyway, keep going.
You bully, Piers. I'm about to put you on blast on my Facebook.
I probably continue with your story, Pierce.
No, like you just threw me off there altogether and completely, Rob. Thank you for that. Like I don't know where calling out my bullshit and stuff like that. I feel like that's important, and I feel like there's people need to do that more. And I think that in this sort of thing, people won't do it because they're worried about not getting bookings, or like they're worried about like not being on a big platform or whatever it may be. And it's just like, if you're going to call out one thing for one thing, then you need to if you're going to stand for something, then you've got to stand for it across the board. It can't be like, well, maybe I'll give that one a bit of I'll give that person a pass. No, like if you're going to stand up and question shit, and you're going to stand up for something, then you better make sure that you're going to stand up across the board, no matter who the person, what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is,
did that, there were a few wrestlers at AWF that this was like years ago that, they were like, oh, we're just all going to band together and just like leave Greg's shows. And I'm like, don't walk around and tell other people that. Like, number one, it just looks bad on you as a person and as a wrestler. Just don't do that. If you have an issue, just go handle it on your own.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to leave, you go yourself. You don't band a whole group together. There's
a lot of like group think and a lot of like shared, I don't know, like toxic like mentalities that get spread around.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, but that's the thing where it comes down to, it's like, in wrestling, and it's much like anything else. There's always going to be nepotism. There's always going to be, groups of people that get along that are always going to look out for their friends. And that's just life. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure that's the same thing with us here. Like, if there's an opportunity that, could benefit either of you that I get knowledge of course, I'm going to hit you up and go, hey, there's something here for you. Know what I mean? Like, or I'll endorse you for it, or whatever it may be, because we're friends and I want to see you guys succeed. So I can kind of see it across the board, but I feel like sometimes it needs to step back and be like, okay, the best talent for the job needs to be here. And I feel like sometimes that's not the case. I
think we just need to develop like a baseline respect for each other, that we're all in this business together. If one person's better than the other, or this person's that and this person's not, it doesn't matter. There just needs to be a baseline respect and acknowledgement of each other. Yes, we may be different promotions and have a different style, but we're all here for the same purpose. and let's just go have fun and get bums on seats and knock some teeth out.
Yeah.
Knock some teeth out and break some noses with the cannonball.
Yeah. Sit on some faces.
But it's true. I've got plenty of friends that are in the business, and they're just like you, got no problems calling people out, and they get into shit for it. But it's like, man, I like them because, you know, they're not scared to stick up for themselves. You know what I mean? If that's something you got to do, you know what I mean? It shows a lot. To me, it shows a lot. You know what I mean? It shows that as a human, like, you're not going to let people push you around that way. You're not being difficult. You're just different. You know what I mean? You actually, you call things out, you know, so.
And it's like, and I don't get bogged down in, you know, what this person had to say about it or what that person had to say. I don't care. I said what I said because, you know, I don't just want to sit here and let it happen kind of on my watch. You know, it's on all our watches, and we all have to step up and stop it. And if somebody doesn't like it, I don't care. Send me a 50 paragraph Facebook message. I won't read it, but you can type it out. It'll come through, but I won't read it.
We're getting three long ones.
I'm getting 3. Okay.
Like I think what pro wrestling does really, really well is like that it has formed this community in different sort of sectors for people and stuff like that. But one area I feel like that wrestling is lacking in is the understanding of people with some mental illnesses and mental disabilities. And one of the things I've seen since being like on more regular shows and being around the business so much is seeing that there's quite a few people that do have some form of autism or Asperger's and stuff like that. And I feel like we need to, you know, really be a lot more understanding than opposed to just like, oh, they're too hard to deal with. It's like, you know, they love this thing as much as we do. If they can come in and be safe and do it well, then yeah, okay, maybe we need to be a little bit more understanding and caring and giving of our patience to certain types of people as well. If
100%. Yeah. Because like, you know, people like that can get, you know, heightened emotionally, you know, maybe quicker or, you know, by something a bit smaller than somebody else might. And we just have to de-escalate those situations, but like in a caring and compassionate manner, and not like point fingers like you did this wrong and this is your consequence. Just like have some love, people.
Yeah. I'd say go out there. You go to shows to have a good time. You go to the actual event to actually meet up. The way I look at a wrestling group community is family. And, you know, previously when I was going through it in IWA, we were such a big, close group family. We didn't shit on a lot of people. You know what I mean? We just spent time having a good time, enjoying ourselves, laughing so much. Yeah, we obviously did the wrestling and whatnot, but it wasn't the main focus. The main focus was, you know, we come together, we enjoy ourselves, and don't focus on all that bullshit. All that stuff is just shit.
Yeah.
You know, as I said,
you're totally right. Like, you know, when Saturday rolls around, I've worked all week, I've been driving all over the place. I'm like, oh, gotta go, get ready, go to wrestling. I'm like, okay, it's another drive back down to Sydney. But as soon as I get there, I'm just happy. And like you said, it is family. I don't have any family here. I'm the only one from the States that's over in Australia for my family. So like, you know, wrestling fulfills a lot of that part of me that I don't have. Like I love going to shows, Rob, when you're there, and you and I talk quite a bit when we're at shows together. And I love it. It's great. And Piers, whenever you're there, I sit down and talk to you. And like, I would terribly miss that if I didn't have it anymore. And I want to keep that for myself, but I want it to be a good experience for everybody, for the wrestlers at work, for the promoters, and for the fans. Yeah,
and I agree. Camaraderie is so important, especially when you go to shows. You're saying hello to everyone, you're talking, you hug. It's so important. The ones that go in and you don't hear from them, and they lock themselves up in the locker room and they say a boo, it's like, man, that's really disrespectful, because like, we're here to do a show together. You're not here to do a fucking match. We're here to do a show together. Let's respect each other. You know what I mean? You got to go up. This is me. I say hello to the person doing the ring crew. You know what I mean? A person that just started, a new person. If I don't know them, like I introduce myself. You know what I mean? It's just, I just think, if you want that camaraderie, you just got to be, you got to, it starts as soon as you get in there. You got to be friendly with everyone. You got to, okay, we're going to have a fucking good show tonight. Today's going to be amazing. Okay, let's go out. Let's get everyone in a good mood. Let's not fucking, let's get everyone in a fun mood. They want to go out there. They want to, go in there, have a bit of a laugh, a giggle, have a bit, but go out there and have a good time, because that's what it's about, and people forget that.
Want to bag Birdman shows because like they're small or, this and that. Like, his literally are the most fun shows that I've ever done. Like, we all have such a good time. Like, Bruiser, vicious and delicious. I'm vicious, he's delicious. Like, him and I have such a blast together at the shows. Like, there's no stress there, and it's fun, and it's one of the most lively and interactive audiences that any show has ever had. You could have 500 people they're watching some other, promotion show. Like, it doesn't compare to the, 30 people that he's got in his crowd. Like, I just think they're the most fun shows. Are they the most glamorous or, the highest costing shows? No, they're not. But like, fun level, it's up there.
And that is the most important thing in pro wrestling, in my opinion, is if you're not having fun, go home. You know what I mean? Because that's what it's about. I don't want people coming in having a shit time. I want them to come there, forget about their fucking world, forget about their stresses in life, go there, enjoy yourself.
Don't worry about a thing.
We got our songs wrong.
Yeah, I was going to don't worry.
You need to have a Rastafarian character next time.
Yeah. So I'll try and get a Rastafarian character instead of having Zucco, you mean, as a co-host?
Yeah. Get some drugs, smoke a blunt walking in.
I'll dress up as a Jamaican. Come on.
Jamaican is crazy.
Feel the rhythm, feel the ride. Yeah. No,
sure. Man. But last time when we spoke to you on here, we sort of started to talk about some of the legal issues that you sort of were going through.
Yep.
How's everything been going with that? But first of all, before we get into that, how have you been dealing with it all, mentally and everything like that? Yeah,
I've been coping well. So, that stuff happened 3.5 years ago. And it got drawn out through the court system. And it just got resolved in, March, sometime around then. It was a really long and stressful process. So I was charged with assault for defending myself against someone that attacked me, pulled a knife on me, and I think very well would have killed me had I not done what I done. Anyway, it is kind of a long, convoluted story. We could probably do an entire podcast on it. The police failed in protecting me. The police failed in, charging the correct person first. I had made a police report well over a month before this incident happened. And I was told I would be getting an AVO and charges would be filed and he would be taken to jail. I provided almost a 3-hour report to the police about that, and it disappeared off the system. It was deleted because I kept calling the officer back going, "Where's my AVO? I need help." And it was deleted off the system. So fast forward, there's a lot of moving parts to this, but that was a big piece. So, fast forward a month or so and this incident happens, and I get a lawyer and start talking to her about, like, well, I made a report to them. Like, where's the report? So she looks into it, and they did a big internal investigation at Burwood Police, and he was found to have acted unprofessionally and was disciplined. They wouldn't tell me why he did what he did and why he deleted it. But anyway, so the guy that attacked me ended up getting charged. That is still before the court, so I can't discuss that. But my charge was dismissed, dropped.
Okay.
So that's
So as it should have been, but it ended up costing me tens of thousands of dollars in legal fees because the case was so complex, and it took 3 full days in court to get through it, which were spread out, over years because of COVID. But yeah, like when it was all done, it was just a huge sigh of relief. Like the judge's findings, like I want to get a transcript so that I can just post the judge's findings up on my wall, because he talked about how obvious it was that I was the victim and that he was manipulative, narcissistic, controlling, abusive, had drug and alcohol problems. Like everything had been documented. I documented everything along the way, every single email, every text message, everything. And I had printed out probably about 2 reams of paper. So, the packs that you get from like Officeworks, like 2 full packs of paper of emails, which is, kind of why it got drawn out over 3 years. But in the end, it probably wouldn't have taken that long if if we would have just shown, that guy's true character, which we did. I just don't really want to get into what a piece of shit he is, but his matters are still before the court, so those will hopefully be resolved toward the end of October, and then have me on your podcast again, and I can go into full detail about that.
So right now, Nikki's free.
Free Brittany. My real name's Brittany, right?
Yeah.
But you know what? Like I was gonna the police that you said that deleted the file of that off the system. Do you think there was something like corrupt going on there, something a bit fishy, or do you think it was just like
1,000,000%? 1,000,000% yes. But they will not tell me what it was. But he no longer works at that station.
So it could have been corrupt. He could have known the guy, or he could have been that stupid and deleted some evidence that was very important, very vital.
Yeah. And so, well, the thing is, like, that cop called me a liar, said she never came in here. She didn't give a statement. Like, idiot. So there was a lady from the Women's Domestic Violence Court Advocate Service. They go with women that have been through domestic violence situations, and they help them, giving a statement, or I think they can even, sit with them while they're at court. She was with me. And, this officer just completely lied. Like I ended up going, I think it was to the, I forgot his title, but he was like high up, like the crimes manager in the police. And I just completely lost control, just crying my eyes out. Like, how could you ask me to trust you that you're going to do the right thing when you guys let this happen on your watch? And there are a lot of good police officers out there, and I have a very good officer that's looking after, me being the victim in this case. But the ones that acted on this at Burwood, it's disgusting. It's laughable. I don't understand how they even have their jobs if they still do.
So when they dismissed the case, what did they say? What was the reason for dismissal?
Because it was Well, I acted in self-defense. He pulled a knife on me and I hit him with a dog leash and ran out the door. And that was when I left him for good. He didn't go to the police until a week after, when he was begging me to come back to him and I wouldn't. He went to the police after that, thinking that would make me like come back to him.
With a
so, but like the judge, you know, read through his findings and it was like 10 minutes of just him talking about what he thought about the case. And, you know, the police couldn't prove anything. Like, I admitted, yeah, I hit him with that out of self-defense. He pulled a knife on me. And the police officers, you know,
that's fight or flight. That's fight or flight. So you're put in a situation where you are in a life-threatening situation. You're gonna have to react, or you know what I mean, get out there. And if you can't get out of there, you've got to react.
Well, exactly. If I didn't, I might not be here to talk to you about it right now. And you know, that's the severity and like the gravity of this situation. And you know, I think that gets overlooked a lot of the times because they're like, oh, Miss Virginia like hit her boyfriend with a dog leash. Like, the news articles don't tell the whole story. And like most of what they say isn't true anyway.
Yeah, they painted you in the news articles. They painted you
like nowhere did they say what he did to me and what he's charged with. Nowhere. So that's to be continued until that's all done. And then we'll have a nice chat about that, because I don't know, maybe I've had to go through this so that I can have a voice about it, because something has to happen. Like, something has to change. Like, I have a lot of feelings about that.
No, that's fair enough.
It's crazy though, like how many people are in those sort of situations though, Nikki, and like just keep accepting it and thinking that the situation will change in those sort of like situations. And I feel like you were put in a situation where it's like, if you'd gone back to someone like that who had pulled a knife on you, like.
But the thing is, like, that wasn't the first thing that he did. Like, he didn't get charged with doing that. He got charged with doing other things before that. So it's not like that was the first time. But you know, and a lot of people say, well, why don't you just leave? Like, it's not that easy. When you leave a situation like that, that is when it's the most dangerous.
Yeah. 100%.
And like, I had left him many times before that. And they say on average, it takes 7 times to leave somebody that's abusive before you can actually leave. And it is true. Like, I probably had to do it more than that. But, you know, when that happened, like, I knew, like, my life is in danger. I can't talk myself out of it. I can't say maybe things will change. Maybe there's something I could have done differently. Like, my life could have been taken then.
Yeah. But I feel like there's nothing like anyone should be able to say to you, like, from a like thing that would get you to that level of anger. And that's where, like, I feel like people that who don't have their full capabilities are out walking the street. And this is the sort of, like, there's people out there in society that will go to that level where it's like, my wife, for example, she can irritate me more than any human being in this fucking earth. And I've told her that. But the thing is, there's nothing that she could do. There's no way, there's no level of irritation that she could put on me that would ever make me want to cause her any physical harm. Like, she's 4
You
foot
are a sane, normal, like, non-narcissistic, non-manipulative, like, human. There are people that walk around us that are not. They're irrational. They're self-centered. Again, they're just narcissistic. Drug, alcohol problems. Like, you know, I wish all men thought that way, but unfortunately they don't. And as a woman, when you get stuck in a situation like that, it's a lot of guilt. So they put a lot of guilt on you. Don't leave me. Don't leave me. I need you. I need you to help me get better. And unless you're in that situation, you have no idea how it feels or what it's like. And it is the most difficult thing.
And the thing is, like, they always say, like, people go, well, why didn't they say something sooner? Why didn't they speak up? Why didn't they, you know, say something sooner? Because it's like the situation that they're in, it's like they don't have that safety to do that. You know what I mean? Like with the situation they're in, they're being controlled. They're in something with someone who's very manipulative. So, you know, you have to be, you know, they have to be able to feel free enough to be able to then go and speak up or start addressing or start doing those things. You know, I mean, I just hope that, you know, people start doing it a lot quicker before something drastically happens, like it nearly happened to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
well,
you know, with it, as a woman, it takes a lot of, you know, inner strength in yourself that when it happens the first time to say, like, no, that's the line that you won't cross. But I don't know if it's a female thing or maybe it was just me. It's like, okay, you're sorry. I forgive you. Like, let's work on it. Okay, that was my fault. There's just all sorts of things that you get sucked into believing, thinking like maybe it's me or maybe there's something that I could have done, but it's not. Like, there are lines that shouldn't be crossed, and that's one thing that I did learn is setting firm boundaries for myself.
100%, but I feel like it goes both ways as well. Like, you know what I mean? Because like there can be times where, like, you know, domestic violence, when someone calls for a domestic violence thing, they 99.9% of the time they're going, the man is the perpetrator and the woman is the victim. And then in some cases it's like women who can then beat the shit out of the husband because the husband's not going to turn around and raise his hand to his wife or what, for whatever reason, or, you know, this in that situation. But it's like, so, but there's also people as well. Like, I can remember when I was in my early 20s, I dated a girl, and like there was some situation where like it was a party at my house. I had friends over. She walked in and something happened and she just stood up and just went whack, smacked me straight in the face. And I just remember just going, what the fuck? Like, and but the thing was, my first reaction wasn't to like physically harm her. I grabbed her handbag. I walked to the front door. I opened the door and I said, get out. I said, leave.
Yeah.
Because
but like there's like an issue that happens quite frequently. So, you know, manipulative and controlling men. You know, when it comes time for police to be involved, they'll be acting like the calm ones, while the woman that's been abused is hysterical and crying and, you know, acting out and acting crazy. So they call. And like the woman will get arrested. Like, it's happened. It's been on the news here. I've seen it happen so many times, and it's happened to me. You know, it's like, okay, I have my limits. Everybody has their limits as well. Like, when you're controlled and manipulated and abused to that point, like, you will explode. 100%. And usually that's, you know, kind of when the police show up and the woman's hysterical and the man's staying there calm, like, oh, I don't know why she acts like this. Like, yeah, you do. There was a girl, I forgot her name, but I was just watching a story about it. A really young American couple that were traveling, and they got pulled over by the police, and she's like hyperventilating and she's crying, and, you know, she's like, oh, you know, he locked me out of the van because I have anxiety and I just have to stay out here. He locks me out for an hour so that I calm down. Like, that's abuse.
100% it is. 100%.
And he killed her.
God.
You know, but that's the thing. I feel like when you're in a relationship with someone, you shouldn't be wanting to hurt them or discipline them or, you know, stuff like that.
There are some crazy ass people in this world, though.
Yeah, I mean, but those are people that probably shouldn't be in relationships because they don't really understand how relationships are supposed to work.
But they're the ones that want to get in the relationships the quickest. That is why that piece of shit proposed to me after 3 weeks.
Damn, 3 weeks. That's quick.
3, because he was a homeless, hungry narcissist that needed a roof over his head. And anyway, I'm smarter now. I'm married to someone different, not him.
You know what? Like, No, you've learned from your experiences though. Like I feel like now, like obviously if you weren't married, but if you're in like another potential situation that was leading into something like this, you would see those flags pretty early on where you'd go, nah, I'm gonna piece out of this one pretty quick.
Yeah. And unfortunately I had to learn the hard way, but I'm kind of hard headed that way sometimes. But you know what? I learned a very valuable lesson. And most of it was just to love myself and respect myself enough to set boundaries and not let anybody walk through them.
For real.
That's really good.
I feel like that's a perfect way to end the podcast tonight, man. I feel like we've spoken for an hour and 20. This has been an absolute pleasure having Nikki Poteet on. It's always a pleasure talking with Nikki. But Nikki, where can everyone find you on social media? Where can people keep up to date with what you got going on in the world of Ms.?
Oh, I don't even know if I can keep up to date with myself, but my Instagram is Have You Seen Nikki? And then once you go there, you will. So, or you know what? Like I use Facebook, I think the most because I'm, millennial old. But yeah, I don't even know what my thing is. I think it's Poteet BN for you, Brittany. Yeah. So anyway, just look me up on Facebook. Send me a message. I always love to chat.
Well, there you go. Make sure you go and check out Nikki Poteet on Instagram and Facebook. Give her a follow, give her a subscribe, all that good shit. While you're at it, also make sure you go and check out our sponsor, healthvape.com, and all the stuff that they're putting out. Use that promo code MWAPOD to get a 10% discount on your final purchase. But this has been the greatest podcast in the world, hosted by me, The Truth, and the OG, Robbie Zucco, and of course, our lovely guest, the one, the only Nikki Poteet. Nikki, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure talking with you.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Until next time.
Everyone, take care. See you soon. Peace.